The Egyptian Museum in Turin, Italy holds a scroll that's over 3,000 years old. For a long time, no one could decipher what was written on it, till a group of British scientists managed to decrypt it. And what they found was shocking. It told a tale of a murder complot against the Egyptian pharaoh Ramses III. Let's talk about it. It was the year 1155 before Christ, and Ramses III was the ruler of Egypt. He was a successful warlord and built some of the biggest pyramids. He was a hard but fair ruler. Scholars later described him as one of the last great kings of the 20th dynasty of Egypt. Ramses cared about his people and his country. He even started the first recorded effort to replant trees. And he cared a lot about hygiene and cleanliness. Unfortunately, he, like many rulers, was surrounded with people that wanted him gone, so they could get more power. And especially in Egypt, it wasn't out of the ordinary for a pharaoh to be killed. 2 of his direct predecessors were victims of a complot against their lives. One of them was killed by his own bodyguards, and the other was poisoned. In both times, the killers were hired by members of the royal family. Historical sources show that polygamy played a huge role into this. And Ramses himself had many wives and mistresses, which of course resulted in hundreds of children. As you can imagine, this caused tension in the royal palaces. One of these wives, called Teje, is explicitly mentioned on the scroll that we talked about at the beginning. She wanted to put her son, Pentaver, on the throne. To achieve this, she managed to surround herself with at least 25 potential assassins that were all willing to do her bidding. But unfortunately for her, someone spilled the beans. And she and her potential assassins were arrested. They were all found guilty. The punishments varied from cutting off their noses and ears to making them end their own lives and executions. What specifically happened to Queen Teje remains unknown. Some scholars even believe she managed to flee before any punishment had been dealt out. Ramses himself never saw the arrest of his potential assassins. He died shortly before, aged 65. His cause of death was thought to be natural. That was until a few years ago, when the same British scientist that deciphered the scroll put his mummified body into a CT scan, and they were in for another shock. Ramses' throat showed a deep cut down to the bone from ear to ear. This wound had been deadly, so Ramses III had been killed after all. His body also showed other wounds, including a missing toe, and more wounds that showed signs of a struggle. Who exactly killed him will likely remain a mystery, but after figuring out what was on the scrolls, the most likely suspect is Queen Teje.